Aloha, good morning. Okay, so yesterday I was all glammed up in a dress and went to the PBN event, and now I look like I rolled out of bed and worked out because I have. And if you don't know who Gary Vaynerchuk is, Gary V, I'm joining one of his challenges. And so he has challenged everyone to do what's called a cringe video. And a cringe video is something that is not your norm. Like I'm not going to be talking about anything else I've ever talked about before. It's like this tangent. And so here's my cringe video. I hated working out, and I tried to figure out how on earth I was going to start working out because I literally didn't want to work out. And this was 6, 7, 8 months ago. And I seem to have cracked the code on how to actually start working out on a regular basis. And I am just shocked at how much better I feel. I'm not going to go into today, but I'm going to tell you what I did. Before, I knew that I needed to do something. And so I talked with a friend, and a friend that was seriously a friend telling me straight up, like, what is wrong with you? Why can't you work out for 15 minutes a day? Everybody has 15 minutes a day. And she has dogs, and I used to have a dog, and I'm like, you're right. I was like, I do have 15 minutes a day. And then I started looking at this going, I don't even need 15 minutes a day. I only need 15 minutes every other day. And so she said, this is ridiculous. She's like, you have to move your body. And she said, try this. I have this app. And so she tried this app. She sent me this app, and I'm not going to tell you the app because whatever. I'm not playing. I'm not getting paid, whatever. But the point is that she said, I use this app, so try this app. So I bought the app, $100 for 6 months. And I'm like, okay, fine. And so you tell the app, it's like an AI coach, but you tell the app how much time you have, what equipment you have, if any. Like I have a foam roller. Like here's my foam roller, and I have one on the boat, and I have bands, and we have some barbells and a couple other things. Mike has a bike on the boat now. And so anyway, I just said, I'm going to put this in, I'm going to try it. And the whole time I'm cringing, but I can only hear her voice in my ear going, everybody has 15 minutes a day to move. And I'm thinking, yeah, I'm like glued to my desk or glued to the car or something. And so I was like, how can I trick my brain into doing something I don't like, but I know I have to do it. And so what I ended up doing was I was like, why don't I surround this thing I don't want to do with a bunch of stuff that I like, right? Like that I really like. And I was like, okay, so what do I like? Okay. Workout clothes. Okay, but I hate shopping. So there's another ribbon of it. And I hate shopping. So I had talked to my family. I talked to little Jen, and I said, look, I've got to buy workout clothes. Well, guess what? I'm in workout clothes, pink, shocking. And so I was like, I am going to go and I'm going to get workout clothes. Not a lot. I only have 2 sets of workout clothes, just and some sports bras, like a couple things. But stuff that I'm like, I like that, right? And that's the key, is that I was like, I like that. I like that. I can see myself. I'm happy when I'm wearing those clothes. I'm happy when I'm wearing that stuff. So I went and got a little bit. I didn't spend a whole lot of money. I went to Winners and I think Ross and a couple other places, just, not a whole lot of money, but I started watching what I was liking as far as clothes, because I'm not a big clothes shopper at all. So what I ended up doing was I'm like, okay, so I got the clothes. What else do I like? I like music. I really like music. And I started figuring out, in fact, a friend of mine who we boat with, he was like, hey, if you have YouTube Premium, you can get this YouTube music for free. And so he's like, if you have YouTube Premium, then you can change the playlist up, and all you need is you put in one song and it makes a whole playlist based on that one song. And so I was like, well, what if Watermelon Sugar is like my boating song? And I'm like, so now there's a bunch of other ones, No Roots, Unstoppable, Titanium, there's a bunch. And then of course I like, Imagine Dragons. And so I was like, oh, I like music. I like music. And so I was like, okay, so music, clothes. How do I actually decide when I'm actually going to do this? Like, cause I am gonna have to move somewhere. So I had to have this conversation, and I was like, so the first thing is that, so the other thing I really like, if you know me at all, I love my coffee, like love my coffee. Life is coffee for me and Mike. So here's the deal. I can't have my coffee until I do the 15 minutes of working out, right? And so what I do is in this app, now I've set it for 3 days a week, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And I give myself permission that if we're maneuvering the boat or I'm traveling or something's going on and I can't actually work out on that day, that I can move it one day forward or back. So that's sort of the given. Okay, so, but what I do is the night before, I actually do two things. The night before I actually go into the app and I look at the workout and I sort of mentally get prepared of what I'm going to do. And it's like, okay, so I'm going to do this and I'm going to do some lunges. And when I first started, I could barely move. Like I could barely stretch. And I kept thinking, this is exactly why I have to do this. So the night before I would look at the workout, and then I would also set out my work clothes on top of the dresser. So like what I'm wearing now, I put the shorts and the shirt and the bra on top of the dresser. So when I get up in the morning before coffee, I would get into my workout clothes. Then I go and I get my earbuds and I put my earbuds in and I turn on my music. And I turn the music on and then I turn the app on. And so it's like, okay, I'm just going to turn my brain off. I'm not going to make it a discussion anymore. And that's kind of the game plan of what has worked. And how do I know it's worked? You guys, I just finished 4 months of workouts. I didn't miss one. I didn't miss one workout. And when I started, which was in like end of May, I could barely function. I couldn't really do anything. And they were like, oh yeah, you need to do burpees. Now, if you've ever done a burpee, it's a push up and then you stand up and then you jump. And they're like, you need to do 10 burpees. And I'm like, I can't even move. But here's the trick though, is that I couldn't do a burpee at the time. Now I can do them like a champ. Well, I'm getting there. I can still do the push-ups on my knees, but I give myself permission to adapt. I have strained myself. I don't want to say injured because I haven't injured myself, but I've strained myself. And so I just go, you know what? I can't do a full burpee today, but I can take my time, and because there's no time limit. That's the other thing, is I'm not going to limit myself to that 15 minutes. Remember, my friend was chirping in my ear going, everybody can move for 15 minutes a day. What's wrong with you? Sorry, she was not that negative. She didn't say, what's wrong with you? She said, you need to make your priority. But she said it in a way, it was like, you need to put yourself first, right? And so when I can't do a burpee, it's like, okay, that's fine. I'm still gonna adapt. I'm gonna take my time. I'm gonna do the best I possibly can. Even if it takes me 20 minutes to do 10 burpees, which it doesn't. But even if it did, I was like, okay, do I need to bring a chair over so I can stand up properly? And I did. Right? I did. And people who saw me all summer saw me working out on the boat. All of them. They would see me working out. And the thing is, it's not that long. I was like 15, 20 minutes, sometimes 30 maybe. But they would see me. And it's funny because then everybody else would start working out or feeling guilty or something. But that's how I know I've sort of cracked this code, is I've got the whole thing surrounded in stuff that I like. At the end of my workout, I get to have my coffee. I'm doing it with music I like, in an environment I like, in clothes that I like. And at the end of it, I get to, and of course I'm in the same app as my friend, right? So it's social and I can adapt it. I've given myself some guidelines that I can adapt it, but, and I don't always feel like doing it. Sometimes I feel like crap. And it's like, whatever. And it's like, you know what? I'm not making it a discussion. Just put the clothes on. Just what is the next step? The next step is, okay, go get my earbuds. Okay, turn on the music. Okay, push, the go on the coffee maker so I can smell the coffee. And so you see, I'm actually using all my senses and all the stuff that I like. And now it's gotten to the point where I've done this for so long now that I actually feel great. I feel great. And I'm looking at this going, the app will actually let me go up to 5 times a week that I can work out. But I also know that I don't want to overdo it. I don't want to stress myself out, right? Like that negates the point. If you're stressing out about it because you don't like it or you're dreading it, that's the whole point. You don't want to do that. So if you're struggling like I was about starting to work out, knowing you have to do something, you have to move, then surround it with stuff that you like, including a reward at the end. Right? Like give yourself a carrot, give yourself something to reach for, but then don't make it a discussion, right? When I get up in the morning and I know it's workout day and I see my workout clothes sitting there, I just go, oh, okay. And I literally go from pajamas into the workout clothes and I go right in and I just start. I don't make it a discussion. I just do it. And as a result now, I am in 17 weeks of doing 3 workouts a week. Like how'd that even happen? I even told my class, I'm like, how did this happen? But I'm looking at myself. My legs are toned. I'm not ripped or anything like that because I wasn't going for that. I was literally going, I just need to move. And so when I find something that I really enjoy, like for example, this is the funniest thing. I went, when I was in Winners in Paul River, I went over to the workout gear because I was just like, I'm just going to see what jumps out at me because I'm not a big shopper. I don't like shopping necessarily. So, but I like it when things jump out at me as far as like a piece of clothing catches my eye or whatever. So I wandered over to the workout gear and they had a pair of bright orange 8-pound dumbbells. And I was like, oh, and those like jumped out at me. I was like, okay, well I got to have that. And so I put them, and so now they're on the boat. And so I changed the app to include these 8-pound barbells. If you're struggling to do something, whether it's workout or whatever it might be, I encourage you to surround it with stuff that you like, but use all your senses. Use your sight, your sound, your taste, your hearing, anything that you know you like and it kind of lights you up. It sort of tricks your brain and it's like it crowds around all the stuff that you like, crowds around the stuff that you don't like. And before you know it, it's like, I feel fantastic. And now I don't dread working out. I don't mind working out. In fact, it's part of my life. In fact, on my calendar, even on the boat, it was like the first thing I put on the calendars on the boat was Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday workout. That was the first thing to go on the calendar. And I just integrated it into the calendar. I used to feel guilty. This is one of the problems I had. I used to feel guilty about taking the time to not only work out, but then recover from the workout. Because, once you work out, then you're a bit sweaty. I try not to go too long and do too many things that I'm like drenched and gross and just, I got to recover every 2 days. Like I got long hair. I can't be washing my hair every 2 days. Like that's not going to work. But I just go long enough that when I'm done, I feel great. And it's like, it's not that much time. Literally you blink and it's like, okay, it's 20 or 25 minutes maybe. And I do typically take a little bit longer because again, I give myself permission to adapt. I take longer if I'm struggling with something. I will go get a chair. I will go shift somewhere else on the boat to do assisted stand-ups or something, whatever I'm moving to. But you trick your brain into this thing that you think you don't like, but just surround it in all different ways of things that you know you like, including that carrot, that time, that thing you can do at the end, and just start constantly doing that. And now it's part of my background. It's part of the world that I live in now. And 6 months ago, I assure you, it was not. I wasn't wearing clothes like this. I wasn't thinking like this. I wasn't moving. I was getting lethargic. Mike and I were very concerned because last summer we didn't hardly move on the boat because there's not a whole lot of room to move on the boat. And so we were very concerned that we would, I actually got a hamstring injury last summer because I wasn't moving. I wasn't stretching. I wasn't actually moving. And so Mike and I both, that's why he got a bike on the boat so that he could start moving as well. And he sees me working out and then he feels guilty. And I'm like, I'm glad you feel guilty. I'm glad. But I said, what do you like to do? Well, he likes listening to these podcasts or these audio books. So he listens to them on like chipmunk speed. So he'll be up there and he'll be like, brrr, this thing, and he'll put it on a speaker or put headphones on, and he just goes and goes and goes, and he actually feels better at the end. And so he has his own version of what tricking your brain into doing something that you don't want to do, but you know you do want to do. And now it's just sort of part of the routine. It's like, oh, it's Saturday morning, so I got to get up. I got to